A Florida man claims his genitals were grabbed at a massage parlor. A Florida man robbed a bank to fund his movie. Floridians called 911 to get help moving the stuff they were stealing. And a Florida deputy was arrested for selling edibles to the inmates. These are the weird stories for Friday on Weird AF News, and they are all from the state of Florida, because on Fridays, we only do weird news from Florida on Weird AF News, which is the only daily weird news podcast in the whole world. Thanks for joining me for this Friday. Let's lead you into the weekend with some amazing, degenerate Florida behavior. We love it. A Florida man claims that his genitals were inappropriately touched at a massage parlor. A Port Charlotte, Florida man got way more than he bargained for after he went in for just a massage. Just want to get a massage. He got some sore muscles. And then he was inappropriately fondled. Now, you got to know that some of these places are going to try and inappropriately fondle you for cash. And so you got to do some research before you go to these massage spas. There's websites you can go to, such as, I believe there's one called Rub Maps. Don't hold me on that one, but don't hold me on that one. I believe it's called Rub Maps, and it'll tell you all the places in your area that do a little rub and tug at the massage. And so if you don't want that, make sure the one you're going to isn't on that map. And if you're underage listening to this, please do not go to Rub Maps ever. Wait till you're 18 plus, all right? Weird AF News does not condone underage rub and tug visitations. Just want to make that clear here, all right? I don't need to be canceled out of this closet, all right? All right, let's get a little backstory on what went down. Maybe we can ascertain whether or not this man knew ahead of time what was going down. It was 1 a.m. on January 3rd when the man strolled into the massage parlor. I'm just kidding. It was 7:30 p.m. If it was 1 a.m., you know what you're getting. 7:30, though, so after dinner massage, he lingered in the lobby as he perused the menu, noting that a 30-minute massage only cost $70. Only? That's pretty expensive for a 30-minute massage, I'm going to say. Typically, massages, even in an expensive town like Los Angeles or New York City, where I've gotten massages in both of these cities, I've lived in both of these cities, you're looking at around $1 a minute. So $55, $60 per massage. $70 for a half an hour should raise a flag, in my opinion. Now, it says here, as he was lingering in the lobby, perusing the menu, which I'd love to see what's on that menu. That doesn't say, but we can only imagine. The 48-year-old Florida man was greeted by Miss Dong. You can't make this up. Miss Dong, yeah, what did you expect? Are we supposed to believe that he accidentally stumbled into this establishment, accidentally got a little tug and greet from Miss Dong? Really? Miss Dong? What was the other masseuse's name? Anita Wang? I got a massage from Hillary Squeeze. I didn't expect it to be such a squeeze. Okay, so after the conversation with Miss Dong, the man decided on the half-hour stress-relieving experience. That was underlined on the menu, by the way. Stress-relieving, wink, wink. He happily turned over a crisp $100 bill. However, he never received his change. Instead, Miss Dong escorted him to a back room. He was asked to strip down, strip into his birthday suit for the new year. According to the county sheriff's arrest report, the Florida man complied and became head-to-toe naked. All right. If you're asked to be naked, that's another red flag. Is this man's first time at a place like this? He's 48 years old. He doesn't know how this works. Now, it says here, while the Florida man was peeling off his pants and additional accoutrements. Who wrote this article? Someone who also writes romance novels on the side? It says here, while he was peeling off his clothing, Miss Dong interjected and told him to lay face down on the table. Without a towel and completely in the buff, the Florida man said he noticed that Miss Dong did nothing but meander aimlessly around the room for about 5 minutes. As he started to suspect that he might be getting scammed, Miss Dong poured some oil and began barely applying any pressure to his aching shoulders. Following 10 minutes of light kneading, Miss Dong ordered the man to flip over onto his back. Then once again, without the security of a hand towel or any symbolic covering, the massage resumed with a focus on his upper chest. Then Dong went too far, it says. Dong just went too far, according to the Floridaman, after he claims that without any provocation, Dong securely grabbed his testicles and his member. Now, aghast at the clutching of his private parts, the Floridaman told Dong to unhand his genitals. I demand you unhand my genitals. You could always just get up and run away. So he demanded that Miss Dong unhand the genitalia, and then he told authorities that Dong began negotiating some sexual favors and asking for more money in order to continue. Well, he wasn't about to have that. He was aghast, after all. He grabbed his clothes. The Floridaman demanded his money back and threatened to call 911. Dong refused the money, only returning $50, and then attempted to block the Floridaman from leaving the massage parlor. The man claims Dong became physical, pushed him against the wall to stop him from fleeing. This was when the sheriff was called, who responded to the scene, and Miss Dong explained to the authorities that it was actually the man who asked for additional sexual acts, and she had refused. She was aghast. She stated that he became so agitated that she gave him his money just to make him leave the premises. Further investigation, though, found that Dong was the instigator. She was arrested. She faces charges of unnatural and lascivious acts. You know those lascivious acts? Well, guys, what did we learn from this? A lot of things. If her name is Dong, you're probably going to get touched. And not every story has a happy ending. Yay! A Florida film producer robbed a bank to fund his movie. A film producer in Florida faces more than 20 years in the prisons after robbing a bank in Orange County. Why? Just wanted to make a movie, that's all. I did it all for the art. The art. We have Nicole Ray Brown, age 54, the Floridaman. He walked into the McCoy Federal Credit Union in Belle Island, south of Orlando, and passed a note that threatened the teller. Brown was dressed in a baseball cap, sunglasses, surgical mask, and plastic gloves. Brown told the teller he had a gun. Brown demanded all the money. Give me all the money. I need to come up with a good ending for this film. I need enough money to shoot some special effects. How much did he get? $4,300 in cash, which, in my opinion, really isn't enough to make a feature film, but you can try on this amount. Perhaps you could make a small, short, viral video with this, or you could definitely fund a podcast inside a closet with this amount of cash. I got low overhead here, is what I'm saying. There was a witness in the story. Another Floridian saw Brown enter a nearby gas station and change his clothes. The witness also told the Belle Island Police Department, who arrested Brown at the hotel he was staying in, that some other clues about Brown. Doesn't say what. Sounds like this witness was following Brown. It's a good Samaritan right here, I got to say. Not a lot of good Samaritans in Florida, so you got to really give them props when they step forward and put their life on the line. The police recovered the demand note because this guy's so dumb he didn't even throw away the demand note. You got to chuck it in the bin at the gas station or eat it. I think that's the popular way to dispose of a demand note. You eat it, right? He also had the stolen cash and the disguise. He didn't get rid of that either. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. He just wants to make a film, guys. Now, when questioned, Floridaman Brown told the officials that he robbed the bank because he was filming a movie in Florida and ran out of money to pay for the production. It's understandable. But this is not an understandable solution to the issue. You got Kickstarters out there, GoFundMes. There's many ways to raise money for your production. Unfortunately, the Floridaman now faces 20 years in prison for the bank robbery and 3 more years for violating the terms of his release as well. Well, at least now he's got a great plot for a movie when he gets out. All right, and he can make a movie. This is the plot. It's a movie about a guy robbing a bank to fund his movie. Ta-da! Florida burglars called 911 to get help moving the stolen stuff. I can't believe this is real. 2 Florida people were arrested after one of them made a 911 call to get help with moving the belongings from a home that they were burglarizing. I mean, are these the dumbest criminals in the history of dumb criminals. To say that in Florida is a lot because Florida sets the bar really high for stupidity. I mean, these criminals, man, they turned it up to 11 on the dumb meter for sure. Let's find out all the details and maybe what drugs they're on. Sounds like a fun time. The deputies responded to a home last weekend after a 911 call was made. At the home, the deputies concluded that nobody lived there. They found some people there, though. It was a Florida male and a Florida girl. The girlfriend of the male, it says. They were both inside the home. They had entered through an unlocked door, and the police did as well. They began searching. They, believe it or not, said that this male suspect they were already looking for. They had already identified him from some security video. He was a burglar earlier that day at a Dollar General store in a place called Poinciana, Florida. Poinciana. It looks like Poinsettia, but not really. Poinciana. I'm butchering this. I've never heard of this city. Sounds wonderful. They say several items were stolen earlier in the day from the dollar store. This guy just doesn't know how to go about burglaries and criminality in general. You're robbing a dollar store of all places, and then you think the police are going to help you move the stolen goods from a home that you're robbing. It's very strange. While talking to the deputies, the female suspect, maybe she has some sense in her, she told the police that she had called 911 herself for the purpose of having law enforcement help them move their belongings from that house that they were burglarizing. Yeah, because that's what the police do, right? They help you move. We all know that, right? They don't even help you move like legitimate items that you own from a property that you own. They don't even do that. I wish they would because movers are expensive, but they don't do that. It says here the woman also called the police because they they wanted a ride to the airport so they could spend the holidays in New York. Oh yeah, like the police do that as well. What the heck, man? What drugs? Let me peruse the article. I want to know what they're on, man. This sounds like great stuff here. The sheriff's office dealt with them, obviously, and then, as they usually do, they post on Facebook. And this Florida Police Department has a sense of humor. They wrote, deputies did help them with their belongings and did give them a ride, but it was not to the airport. It was to the Poke Pokey, and they are welcome to stay there all weekend long. The Poke Pokey is much better than New York anyway, we say. You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. A Florida deputy was selling edibles to all the inmates. Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Cronister announced there was an arrest of a deputy. This was on Thursday. The sheriff said that Terry Bradford, age 25, the deputy in question, also a Florida man, was selling cannabis-laced perishables, or edibles, to the inmates at Falkenberg Road Jail. The jail intelligence squad learned of the sales of these edibles through a source who stated that he had an order coming in next week. I got an order coming in. Well, he just spoiled it for all the orders. They're not coming in now, guys. Cronister stated that Florida man Bradford was bringing these perishables. I don't know why they're calling them perishables. They're edibles, bro. Of course they're perishable. Everything's perishable. Even your love. So the perishables / edibles were being brought in by Bradford, along with some other contraband. They don't state what it is. And they say that this Florida man was being compensated by inmates through a Cash App. Wow, the inmates are using Cash App? They got smartphones in these jails, huh? I guess they can listen to Weird AF News in the jail then. Any inmates listening to Weird AF News? I would love to hear. I don't know if you have access to other ways of communicating, but, you know, the number here is 646-450-2012. You can even text that number. I'll get it. I'd love to hear from an inmate. That would be amazing. Okay, so it says, when Florida man Bradford walked into work on January 4th, officials located over a pound of cannabis-laced brownies that he had individually packaged for sale to the inmates. Bradford allegedly pocketed a few $1,000s from these transactions overall. This guy, Cronister, who's in charge of the investigation, says this is still in the early stages, so the extent of the profits is yet to be known. He also said that they're unsure right now if other deputies were involved in the sale of these perishables as well. These perishables. What are you doing this weekend, bro? Me and my buddies are going to take some perishables and watch a David Lynch movie, man. I like to have them perishables when I'm watching some trippy movies, man. You want to try some perishables? I got some good perishables, bro. Now, the sheriff says they are trying to mitigate this problem by having a food contractor provide hot and healthy meals to all the employees who are at the jail for their 12-hour shifts. But employees still have to be allowed to bring in their own food due to dietary restrictions as well as medications. This is why you have a deputy bringing in all of this additional perishable, these laced brownies. But, I mean, flags have got to go up when he brings in a tray of brownies. What the heck? And then doesn't allow the employees to have it. No, these are only for me. These 400 brownies that I have in my locker are just for me, guys. It's part of my dietary restriction. Come on now. This Florida man is facing charges of introducing contraband into a detention facility in possession of a controlled perishable as well. Says here that in addition to the employees involved, it's pretty likely that the inmates that received these perishables will receive additional charges, which I don't think is fair. And they can easily get out of that by saying, hey, I didn't know these were laced perishables. I just thought I was getting a $10 brownie, That's what I thought I was getting. I like those types of perishables. I get hungry in here for perishables. Yay! Well, all right. The first Florida Friday is now in the books. I want to thank all of my listeners that sent me Florida stories in the last 48 hours. You know who you are, and you're supremely helpful for my life. Thank you. You can always send me stuff to funnyjones@gmail.com, or you can slide into my DMs on Instagram @funnyjones as well. I always love hearing from listeners, and I always usually write back. So reach out, and I hope you're having a nice weekend, or you had one, or maybe you're about to have a nice weekend. I'm going to give a shout out to Lil Moon on YouTube. Wrote me a nice note. Your podcasts, Jonesy, are always the best. Looking forward to Florida Friday. I'm too broke to buy you a coffee, Jonesy, but I hope you have a good year. Hey, no worries on that, Little Moon. I appreciate that lovely comment you made on the YouTube video, and I hope you have a great year as well. And good luck with your life, Lil Moon. Good luck with your life. I also had a nice email from Christina Ford, who sent me a story, and she wrote, hey, Jonesy, I heard your story on Thor the Walrus this morning. You got to admit, that was pretty crazy. Here's another story. Looking forward to Florida Friday tomorrow. Have a good weekend, buddy. So far, 2023 is not disappointing with the weirdness. Christina Ford. Christina, you nailed it. It is not disappointing with the weirdness thus far. The last few days have been amazing. These episodes have been great. A lot of weird stories. Too many. I couldn't even get to all of them, so I believe next week will be pretty beefy as well. The year is starting out weird. It's just getting weirder and weirder, this world that we live in. Don't you love that? Anyways, we do our best here at Weird AF News to cover such things and try and add a little humor to them. And I don't always nail it because I'm improvising these, but you'll always learn something about the weird world that you live in, and you learn that you probably shouldn't be visiting Florida anytime soon as well, so that's helpful. Now, if you get a lot out of Weird AF News and you want to support the show, please tell a friend over the weekend about it. Suggest it as a podcast that they might try. It's a good break from your daily mainstream news lineup, I have to say, which can be pretty depressing. At least Weird AF News brings a little levity to the whole shebang. Levity to the shebang. Jonesy, where are you getting this poetry? From my brain and caffeine. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody who sent me donations and coffee and joined the Patreon during the holidays, keeping me caffeinated. And I love it. If you guys want to donate or support the show with a little bit of cash, you can go to weirdafnews.com, and that's where you can join the Patreon or buy me a coffee. It's pretty easy. I hope you have a great weekend anyways. I love you all. We'll see you on Monday.